So, for the first card, this is Pisces Sun, Pisces Moon, and Pisces Rising. So we have the Three of Swords in the reverse position. So this definitely indicates that you guys have been through some of you have been through a heartbreak that you are working past, that you're healing from. Now, for some of you, this could be about a romantic relationship that could have experienced some difficulties, came to an end. Perhaps it was the toxic relationship from last month. That'll resonate with some of you. For some of you, this could have been about a friendship, because there's always a little bit of cruelty associated with this card and the way that things were done. But the upside here is it is in the reverse position, so it's showing that we are healing from this heartbreak, and heartache. So there, for some of you, there could have been a betrayal. There could have been some infidelity for some of you that you had to deal with. For some of you, you may have had to deal with some cruelty from other people, especially regarding a relationship. And for some of you, there could have even been a sense of abandonment. But we are healing from these things. So this is positive. We are working towards healing. Okay. Well, it's clarified by the Ace of Coins. So perhaps we're dealing with healing this situation, and maybe we're turning our focus to our financial life. Maybe we're trying to go a new path in a new direction regards to money. For some of you, this could indicate that some money has recently come in. That'll resonate with a few of you. Now, for the rest of you, this could definitely be indicating that you could be given a new start in regards to finances, but we do need to be careful to not overextend ourselves financially. So for some of you, this could manifest as, an opportunity for a job, an opportunity for, maybe a partnership, like a business partnership. Real estate can definitely come up under this. A lot of different things, actually, but I always like to give the warning because this is such a beautiful card here, and I don't want it to go to the reverse position, so I always like to warn. Let's be careful about buying things that we want as opposed to buying the things that we need, because under this type of energy here, we want to stick to the things that we need right now as opposed to buying things that we want. And this is also a card of definitely indicating, while there is going to be money coming in, we do need to still budget. Okay? So the need for a budget is there, and it's always a good thing to give ourselves some breathing room. So, make your budget larger than you normally would in case some unexpected expenses pop up. And then you'll be more prepared to handle a situation. And for some of you, I feel that, perhaps with this situation, personal relationships, maybe we're just trying to put our focus on another aspect of our life to help heal. But no matter what, this is definitely positive for you guys. Okay, so for the circumstances, we have the Four of Swords. So this is a card of resting after going through a battle. And for some of you, you probably have gone through some verbal battles, maybe even some mental battles. Just, dealing with other people can be exhausting sometimes. And this is our card of finally getting to rest after dealing with those battles. And for some of you, this can indicate a vacation. For some of you, this is simply a retreat period where we can withdraw from people because we just need that break. We need to have some alone time so that we can find our balance again. But there is still plenty of mental activity taking place, as we see. It almost looks like her hair, but yeah, we got thoughts going around everywhere here. But look at her. She is relaxing in this tub. She's got one shoe on because she just plopped herself down in there like, oh, I'm so exhausted. Like, Calgon, take me away. So it's definitely a card of being exhausted and in need of some rest. And, for some of you, you might pull away and withdraw. For some of you, you might be going on vacation. For some of you, you might be going to an actual retreat. So, either way, definitely take some time to rest up and to find your balance again. Okay, so for the focus position, we have the Ace of Cups in the reverse position. So, the focus position is essentially the focus of the entire reading here. So the focus is on the Ace of Cups in reverse. So this is definitely going to indicate that there are some issues, that perhaps maybe for some of you it was a relationship that came to an end or one that is coming to an end. Sometimes we can feel like we're not wanted when this card comes up. So for some of you, you may feel like you are not wanted by someone. It puts us in a really vulnerable position. Now, for some of you, this can indicate that perhaps, you're just like, oh, I don't want to jump into a relationship right now. I've been hurt and I need to heal. So it's like we've been through the ringer emotion wise, and we're not trying to jump back out there immediately. And so we're a bit reluctant to open our heart to, the possibility of a new relationship. Now, for some of you, this can indicate the fear of starting over in a relationship. And sometimes this can indicate that there could be an insecurity about someone who has recently showed up in your life. And sometimes this can indicate that, we just might be preoccupied with ourselves and our own issues right now. And it can be perceived by others as we are being selfish, but that's not really what we're doing. It's just, it could be perceived by others that way. Perception, everyone's is different, but for a lot of you, this can just be indicating that, we're just simply sick and tired of how things have been. Maybe we want a new situation. Maybe we want someone new. Maybe we want a new dream, something else that we can go after that we're extremely passionate about and that we love, but we have to open our heart. Now, for some of you, and this is only going to be for a few of you, but for some of you who are in the beginning stages of a new relationship, this can definitely indicate that there will be some delays and some frustrations regarding this new relationship. And, sometimes it can go right back to, our own insecurity. But again, this is us definitely feeling vulnerable. For some of us, this could be us hanging on to some repressed experiences and emotions. It's like if we've been hurt so many times, we have a hard time of letting that go. And so we could be blocking ourselves, but I'm thinking that this is really more due to like last month, what you guys have been going through. Okay, so it is clarified by the Nine of Swords in reverse. So this is definitely indicating that we've gone through a loss, and we are now healing from it. And this whole entire situation is one that is meant to show you that if you can make it through this, then you can make it through anything that comes your way. So we have made it through, this dark cloud of trauma, so to speak, is passing. And we are healing now. Now, the healing process can be slow, so let me just warn you. We all heal at different rates of speed here. So some of us will get past this a lot quicker, and some of us won't. So we're all different. Every Pisces sun, moon, and rising sign is different. But ultimately, we are healing. And again, this takes time. So don't expect it to happen overnight. But our hope will return to us. It will. Things are going to get better. And you will begin to see that the sun will come out. It's not always going to be nighttime. But for some of you, this could indicate that you are getting past some depression or anxiety issues. Sometimes this can be about sleep issues, actually nightmares, insomnia. So we could be finally getting past this, healing from it. For only a handful of you, this could be indicating a healing after a surgery. But no matter what, we are healing from a loss. There was some sort of loss that we've been through, and we are healing from it. Okay, so for the recent past, we have the devil. So, yep, karmic toxic relationships. These relationships can be romantic or platonic, okay? They don't have to be romantic. They can be purely platonic. Sometimes certain people in our life can just be downright toxic for us. And we know that because if someone is constantly bringing us drama and they make us literally feel ill, literally, they can make you feel ill and drained, then you're dealing with someone that is toxic. But this is a card of, having to face all of that. This is about illusion and bondage and fear. Fear is an illusion. You see how she's got her hands in these golden handcuffs? Well, look at those skinny little wrists. She can pull her hand right out of those chains. No problem at all. She is not bound to the devil. But the fear is telling her that she is. But fear is an illusion. We're not stuck in any situation. We don't have to be stuck in any situation. At any given moment, we can decide, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to deal with that anymore. This card is very much about obsessions, addictions, and fears, and karmic toxic relationships. But for some of you, this could have been about an addiction. Sometimes this addiction could be one that is to sex. Sometimes it's to relationships. Sometimes it's to a certain person in our life. But this card is indicating that it could be karmic and toxic. Maybe someone's not so good for us, or something is not so good for us. But we do not have to stay in that situation. We're not stuck. We can remove ourselves at any point. You just have to want to do it. Okay, so for the present, the here and the now, we have the Two of Coins. So this is a card where we are definitely juggling, we are multitasking. So this could be as multitasking and juggling, you know, say some of you could have a couple different jobs. We could be juggling. For some of you, this could be about juggling a job and our personal life, or, you know, our home life and a job, you know, and on and on and on. This is like we have a lot of things going on and we feel like we're having to do a bit of a juggling act to make things work. Now, keep going, okay? Don't allow yourself to lose balance. This is very good and positive that it's in the upright position, so it shows you are very much capable of multitasking and continuing forward. Now, sometimes when this card is here, it can indicate that we could potentially get some sort of news that could be discouraging or disappointing. But I would like to stress, let's not pay attention to said news, okay? Because we do not want to allow it to cause us to lose balance, because we need to keep our balance in order to maintain this juggling act. Okay? Okay, so it is clarified by the Faith card. So, for some, this could literally be maintain your faith, have faith. It's all going to work out, but we must have faith. Now, the Faith card is also about what is conventional, what is traditional, what is orthodox. It is also about the church. It's also about marriage. It's also about schools. It's also about conforming. Sometimes we have to conform to a certain set of rules or a certain system in order for things to be good. Sometimes it's for the good of us, sometimes it's for the good of all, you know? And the Faith card can also indicate, you know, perhaps providing a service for someone in exchange for money. So that is going to resonate with a couple of you. Some of you could be doing your own thing. Maybe some of you are doing something on your own and then maybe working a regular job. But hey, you're doing it, you're staying in balance. So don't let anything cause you to lose balance. But, you know, most of all, you know, just stay strong in your faith. Know that everything is going to work out. And sometimes we're just going to have to conform. I'm not a huge fan of it myself, just being honest. But sometimes it is necessary, you know, so we just got to get past it because it's for the good of all. Okay, so for the near future, we have the Chariot in the reverse position. So this is like you guys are definitely going after a goal, something that you're wanting to accomplish, and we end up running into some problems. Now, we need to be careful that when we're in pursuit of going after this goal that we want, we need to make sure we don't steamroll over other people, okay? Now, a lot of times this is indicating that we could be experiencing some issues along the way towards achieving our goal. You know, for instance, consider the Chariot like a vehicle. Now, with the Chariot in the reverse position, this can indicate that there could be some sort of vehicle problems. That'll resonate with some of you, but not all of you, okay? If you know something has been off about your vehicle, this will be the time to get it checked out. Now, this card can also indicate for some of you that this could be a bit of a time where maybe your vitality and your stamina is down. For some, this could indicate that we could be worn down. We could be exhausted, mentally and physically. And we might just be in need of a break so that we can rest and find our balance again. And also during that period of rest, we really need to question, the goal that you're going after, that you're pursuing. Is this something that you truly want? Is this something that you're truly passionate about? Is this something that you're going to be able to sustain your passion with after a certain amount of time? Is it worth it? These are things to think about while you are taking that break. But that break alone can give you some much needed clarity on whether you want to move forward with this or not. Sometimes the chariot reverses because we're not giving ourselves a break. And we need to realize that sometimes we need to take a break before we actually need the break, okay? So we don't want to end up getting, say, a cold or a flu bug, because then we're forced to take a break when we have an illness, And why not take that break before we're forced to? Because for some of you, you're definitely charging after that goal and you're wanting to achieve it and you're determined, but you're wearing yourself out and you need to take a break. Now, for some of you, this isn't going to resonate with all of you, but for some of you, this could be feeling like you have a potential enemy or adversary that could be trying to cause problems for you. But ultimately, my best advice is take it easy. Take some time to rest and recuperate and regroup. Find your balance and, be honest with yourself. Is this something that you really want? If it's something you really want and this is what you want, then just take that time to rest and recuperate and find your balance. And then you can get back out there. But we don't want to push ourselves past the brink here. Okay. So it is clarified by the world. So now I'm getting a little bit of a different vibe here. So for some of you, perhaps maybe you do have this goal that you're wanting to go after, but maybe in your pursuit, maybe you ran across a path and maybe there were several trees laying across the path blocking you. Well, if you sit down on the tree and you just think, well, that's it, that ain't good. And I feel that might be what some of you have done. Feeling like, well, it's not going to happen, so I might as well just forget it, So ultimately, the world card is coming in to say, hey, you've been through a lot, you've learned a lot, pat yourself on the back, good job. Whatever you want, whatever you desire can be yours, okay? This is a card of karmic rewards. But we also have to be willing to put the hard work in. This is a card that is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is very much about hard work. So you can have whatever you want, whatever you desire, whatever this goal is that you're wanting to achieve, you can have it, but you are going to have to work hard for it. So I'm feeling that some of you could be a bit more wishful about it. And this is where I would say faith without action is useless. So we can't rely upon wishful thinking. Sometimes things happen, delays come up, unexpected obstacles present themselves. But we can't give up. We have to stay determined. But we also have to know when to take a break if we're pushing ourselves too much as well. But again, this is a card of saying you can have whatever your heart desires. It can be yours, but you have to be willing to put the work in for it. You're going to have to roll your sleeves up and maybe get your hands dirty a little bit. You may have to get your hands down in the dirt and get dirty, you know? But hey, if you want something bad enough, you're going to be willing to work for it. Okay, so for the attitude position, I'm loving this. So you guys have got the Queen of Wands for the attitude. So this is a card that she just absolutely oozes self-confidence. She believes in herself. She believes in her own abilities. She is someone who has a very commanding, dominant type of presence. Even when she doesn't want the attention, people just automatically turn and look at her when she walks into a place. Him or her, excuse me. So they automatically get the attention. This is also indicating that you guys are definitely utilizing some intuition here. It's also a card that has a lot to do with manifesting. So some of you are definitely tapping into your manifesting abilities, and you are focusing on some financial, projects and endeavors. And you're definitely feeling confident and ambitious and knowing you can pull it off. So I'm loving the attitude. Now, I know there's going to be a few of you that maybe don't necessarily agree with that, but there's some sort of characteristic there that's going to fit you. Okay, so this is how other people would see you. So we have the Fool. So this is a new start. We're being given a new start, and there is the childlike joy and the innocence that surrounds this new start. And it's also a new start where we have a clean slate, so to speak. So that's very positive. And I'm definitely feeling that a lot of you guys have made this new start. Now, for some of you, you're going to go, more towards, financial goals. For some of you, you may go after more creative type of goals. For some, it'll be relationship goals. Again, every Pisces sun, moon, and rising sign is different. We all want different things. But I can definitely tell that there is an emphasis on money as well. So some of you are definitely focusing and turning towards your financial situations. For some of you, this could be a way to help heal and maybe even escape the emotional issues a little bit. Now, that's not going to be for all of you. It's not going to resonate with all of you by any means. But for some of you, that might be how you're coping with the emotional situation, is by working and focusing on financial goals. So I think that's an excellent card, and it definitely puts things in a good light as far as how other people are looking at you. But sometimes people can have a tendency to look at you like you're being naive. But that doesn't mean that that's true. The biggest thing that I would warn and advise is make sure that with this new start that you guys don't make any sort of impulsive type of decisions, because we don't want to make foolish decisions, because then we can end up causing ourselves to attract more opposition our way, and more delays and more frustrating obstacles that pop up. So we just need to be careful of making foolish decisions. We need to be careful of impulsive speaking. So typically this is not how I would interpret this card, but sometimes I like to throw the things out that we need to avoid so that we don't have the card go to the reverse position. So we definitely need to be careful of what we say and how we say it to certain people, because under this type of energy, it can definitely make us say something without thinking, and it may not have even come from a malicious place. We may not even realize we hurt somebody. So it's just better to think about what you're going to say before you say it to certain people. Put yourself in their shoes. How would you receive it if you were in their shoes? That's really the best way to look at it. Or, treat people how you want to be treated. That's a real good example right there. But yeah, you guys are going in a new start, but I would also say that, don't give up at the first sign of a delay or an obstacle that comes up. If you truly want to accomplish this new start or going in this new direction or achieving this particular goal that you're going after, you can't give up when we have a delay or when we have, an obstacle that just, pops up out of the blue. Be determined. Stick to it. Let's use our logic over our intellect sometimes. Because if we can pull back and be objective and look at things and weigh the pros and the cons and weigh things out, then we can actually find a solution. Yeah. Okay. So, this would be hopes or fears, and sometimes this can give us a little bit of subconscious mind info. So we have the Two of Cups in the reverse position. So this is a card where it's indicating that a particular relationship or partnership is out of balance. There is a lack of harmony taking place within a particular relationship. This can be a romantic relationship, or it can be a platonic relationship, or it could just be something that we fear, okay? Now, this is also a card where the giving and the sharing is not equal between the two people. There's definitely a disharmony. Sometimes this can be a card that pops up when someone may be at a bit of a crossroads within a relationship, and they may be thinking about calling things off. They may be wondering, should I put any more of my time or my energy or my love or my hard work into this relationship? It doesn't always mean that things are doomed. It just means that both parties have got to want the same thing, and communication is the key. We have to talk, and a lot of times with this card, it's like both parties tend to be stubborn, and ultimately somebody has got to speak up. Someone's got to be the first person to be the bigger person and speak up. If you want things to be fixed, they can be within certain relationships, and sometimes they won't be fixed. But it's better to know than to not know. And for some of you, this could just simply be about fearing that should you get into another relationship, that it's going to be one that lacks harmony, that is out of balance. But a fear is just a fear. It doesn't have to manifest. We must always remember that fear is an illusion. Now, danger is very much real, but fear is an illusion. Fear wants to keep us trapped and paralyzed. And we don't want to do that, and we don't want to give into that. That's not the type of energy that we want. But I'm thinking that for a lot of you, this is definitely linked to the recent past. Some of you might even be fearing that maybe you made the wrong decision. Some of you may be feeling like you were just simply unwanted within the relationship. Maybe even feeling a bit neglected. Yeah. But look, some relationships are just not meant for us. And again, when I say relationships, please keep in mind that, they can be romantic or platonic. Because I do realize that not every Pisces sun, moon, or rising sign is in a relationship, a romantic relationship. And some of them don't want to be. And that's okay. We're all different. We all want different things. And that's okay. But I just want you guys to know that. That way you understand when I say relationship, I can be talking about an actual platonic relationship, say like a friendship, So it can go either way because, this toxic relationship could have been one that was romantic. It could have also been one that was a friendship. It could have also been one that was with a family member or even a business partner or a coworker or, and on and on and on, I mean, we can have toxic relationships with all different types of people. But karmic toxic relationships, there's a purpose. We got to learn from them and then let them go. That's kind of the point. But the letting go part is what's hard because the fear can creep into you where you think you're stuck and that you're not supposed to leave a particular relationship. But the only thing that's truly keeping you there is you and your fear. And sometimes it's a bit of an addiction, But ultimately, I believe the universe has people that are going to be far better for you and far healthier and much more deserving of your love. But we have to give it a chance. So for some of you have already let go of that, toxic relationship and moved forward. Pat yourself on the back. You deserve it. And then there's some of you who are still trying to hang on. Don't allow yourself to be disillusioned. Okay. So for the final outcome, we have the Seven of Swords. So I always refer to this card as the emotional choices wish card. But these choices always have a bit of a illusion to them. So all that glitters is not gold. This is one of those cards where we shouldn't judge a book by its cover. So we need to be careful on how we choose, but this is definitely indicating that we're going to have some difficulty in making a decision, okay? And I just want to make sure that you guys don't get caught up in daydreaming and wishful thinking. I mean, take a look. You see the man's eyes? Well, this is his head. And these are all the things, the imagination that's going on here. So I don't want you guys to get caught up in wishful thinking, too much daydreaming. Sometimes this can indicate that perhaps maybe we might be stuck in a certain situation or condition, and it could be due to wishful thinking. Sometimes we're choosing the illusion over reality, and that's not what we want to do because illusion is just that. It's an illusion. It's not real. And that would be the wrong way to go. But we've got to get out of this wishful thinking mode, because that's not, we can be wishful all we want, but again, faith without action is useless. We have to utilize these karmic rewards here, and we absolutely have to be willing to get out there and to do the necessary actions and work that it's going to take to achieve your goal. But you have a choice to make, you know? Make your choice, but do not allow yourself to choose illusion over reality and to get caught up in that wishful thinking. Sometimes this can be indicating that maybe you might have an overworked imagination right now. This can be us not being able to see the forest from the trees, so to speak. This makes total sense. Okay, so the clarification card is the Two of Swords. So this is our card of indecision. So we have a decision that we have to make. And it is one that has a bit of an emotional nature to it. So what this card is indicating is that we need to go within. We need to do some introspection, some self-reflection. We need to go in and think about these things. We need to weigh the pros and the cons of each choice, of each direction, or each goal, whatever it may be for you, because we're having to choose from multiple things. Okay? But we need to choose right. Now, the best advice I can give, some Moon and Libra advice, we need to pull back and make this decision with our intellect, not our emotions, because our emotions cloud our own perception sometimes. And I don't want you guys to make the wrong decision. So this is where we should be weighing the pros and the cons to each choice. You know, for some of you, maybe you should even do a little bit of research, you know, depending on what it is you're going after and what you're trying to achieve and what your choices are. But sometimes doing a little bit of research can actually help. You know, the more facts we have and the more knowledge that we have to go off of about each choice, then the better off we are when it comes to making the decision. But again, with Moon and Libra here, Two of Swords, this isn't a decision that needs to be made like immediately. This is one that you need to take your time in coming to a conclusion, because we need to weigh it out like a set of scales, okay? We literally need to weigh each choice with all of the pros, all of the cons, and see which option is going to be the best for us and our situation and where we are right now. So just choose carefully and don't allow yourself to be swept up in any illusions or, you know, excessive daydreaming. Daydreaming and imagination is good, but we have to keep that separate from making, you know, important life decisions here. So, because our imagination and even our emotions can sometimes cloud our own judgment. And this is why I say we need to take our emotions out of it and use our logic and our intellect to make this decision. And that way we don't feel regret and we know that we made the right decision. But to each his own. I always say we have free will, and you need to choose what you feel is best for you. Okay, so for the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Swords in the reverse position. So this indicates that a decision will be made. Okay? And typically, once the decision is made, it's something that we don't want to go tell everybody and their mom, okay? Because there's still a need for some discretion. We don't want to attract any opposition, so to speak. Oh, this is nice. Okay, so it is clarified by the Nine of Coins. So for some of you, this decision is going to be one that is financially focused. For some of you, this is going to be about issues as far as becoming financially self-sufficient, financially independent, financially secure, having good investments. For some, this can be about having a good job where we are able to build a savings up. This is a good card material wise and financial wise. For some of you, this could be indicating that you might end up going out on your own. You may do some type of independent work. Some of you may desire to be self-employed, to work for yourself. That's not going to resonate with every single one of you, okay? But for some of you, you will want to be your own boss, to do your own thing. And for the rest of you, ultimately, this choice that's going to be made is going to be one that is about our financial well-being and achieving financial security and stability and feeling okay with our situation. So, all in all, this seems very positive where we are being led to. At least if, financial issues have been something that have been plaguing you, well, it looks like this is going to be the month where there is going to be much improvement. As long as we don't get caught up in the illusion of our imagination. Like I said, imagination is a good thing, but sometimes we need to know when to put that on the back burner and when we should use it and when we shouldn't. But when it comes to making decisions, especially when I see the Two of Swords twice, this is definitely indicating we need to use logic to make our choices rather than our emotion. So keep your head up, Pisces. Things are definitely improving. I understand there are definitely some delays and obstacles that are coming up. But I do feel that for some of you, these obstacles are a bit self-imposed, maybe even a little bit of self-sabotage. That's for some of you, not all of you. For some of you, it's outside circumstances, but you'll get through it. And it looks like you have a choice to make, and the choice is going to result with financial security. So this is good. I want you guys to keep your head up. And I don't want you guys to lose your hope when it comes to relationships, whether they be romantic or platonic. Some of us, we all end up getting hurt by other people at some point. Some of us multiple times throughout our life. Some of us a few times. But we all go through this, and I just don't want you guys to carry it with you forever. Now, you have every right to grieve and go through your process. Your feelings are valid, okay? I just don't want you guys to get caught up and feeling like that's how it's always going to be. Because it's not. There are good people out there. It's just these situations that we go through sometimes are showing us the people that are not good for us. And by removing the people that are not good for us, we are able to make room for people in our life that are going to be good for us. So when one door closes, another always opens up. Keep your head up and keep going, Pisces. I love you guys, and I am sending you blessings of healing, prosperity, and love.